Oh, here you are.
Yo, what's up, YouTube? It's your boy One Shot Nas back in with another video. Today, we want to talk about something kind of important. I'm thinking about selling a camera, and I'm gonna tell you which camera it is. Stay tuned. Ready? Yo, so let me tell you the camera I'm selling, right? And let me give you the backstory on why I'm selling it. The first camera that I'll ever be selling in my life is probably gonna be the Sony FX30, which I'm shooting on right now. Let me explain first why and the reasons why I'm selling it and for what camera I'm gonna get to replace it. So the backstory. I love the Sony FX30. I got the Sony FX30 like a year ago. It's almost been a full year. I kind of love the camera. It's put me indoors that I couldn't get in before. Definitely shot a couple Sony guys with a couple Sony guys. I definitely have been in some better bit rates and stuff like that because I had the Canon M6 Mark II beforehand. But I did buy the Blackmagic Pocket 6K Pro before the Sony FX30. I was actually gonna buy it when it came out, but it was on back order for like 6 months, which the Pix is probably gonna be on back order too, so I'm not gonna buy that one either right now. But I got the Pocket 6K Pro and was like, this is cool, but I needed something I could put on the gimbal, and I ended up buying the Sony FX30 because it's just a really great camera. And let me explain some of the reasons why I'm selling it. The reason why I'm selling it is because this camera that I'm about to talk about, is just a good replacement for my business. And the Sony FX30 does a great job, but I need some more things in the business realm. And then I'm also going to invest in some more cameras, and the business side of that needs to fit. So the camera I'm selling this Sony FX30 for is the Lumix S5 II, not the X, but the S5 II. Let me explain why. So let's talk about the business side first. The reason why the business thing makes the most sense for me is because this is going to be my C camera. This is going to be the social media camera. This is going to be the camera that I use for teasers. This is going to be the camera that, to be honest, is going to be paired social media wise with the Pixis camera, because we all know the Pixis 6K has 3x2 open gate, and this Lumix S5 II has open gate at 6K, which is amazing. I'm not buying the Lumix because of the B-raw capabilities or the ProRes capabilities. No, I'm buying them because of the open gate feature. Now, I wish if Sony had the open gate feature, I would reconsider. I would definitely reconsider. But there's another reason why I am selling the Sony FX30. Due to low light capabilities and the dual native ISO being 400, 800 and 2500, the low light on this camera dry sucks. The shadows are super grainy. It's so much noise in the camera. I just do not get inspired when I'm in low light and I'm shooting something, I'm looking at the shadows on the sensor, on the screen, and I'm like, man, this is just grainy. Like, I hope I don't pull it in and the client sees it. And that makes me really nervous. I know I use fast lenses. I use the Sigma 1835, which is 1.8. I use the Sigma 24mm, which is 1.4. I have a Rokinon 85mm, 1.5. But even when I'm getting to the higher ISOs, it's just not a good low light camera. Even though Sony is the king of low light, it's just not a good low light camera. And the reason why I'm switching with the S5 II is because the better low light. And let me give you an example. The S5 II second dual native ISO is 4000. Now, I wouldn't be switching ecosystems if the Sony FX30 had 4000 and it was clean, but the A7 IV does. But the A7 IV has overheating. So that's why I'm not going A7 IV, because I really would. But the Lumix is also full frame, and that gathers light so much better. I personally don't care about the full frame APS-C thing, but because the noise on the Sony FX30 is so bad, I literally just can't anymore. I get so uninspired. I get so nervous that I'm going to be in a situation where it's just super no light, and I have to always bring lights with me. And that's cool. I'm a cinematographer. I definitely love to use lighting, but it's just grainy at 2500. When I put it at the second dual ISO, it's just mad grainy, and I don't appreciate that. So I'm gonna go Lumix, and I'm gonna try that out for a couple months. I'm gonna buy it used, definitely, because it's like 1500 used. So hopefully I'll be able to grab that and use the full frame capabilities. I already have the Canon 24-105. I have Sigma 1835 for 4K crop. Things like that. All right. So the next reason why I'm also going to get the Lumix S5 II and sell the FX30 is because of the L mount, right? One reason. I got to do subs. The first reason in the L mount is because I'm going to buy the Pixis, And the Pixels is, I'm going to get it in L mount. I'm not going to get it in locking EF, even though I have EF. I'm not going to get it in that because the L mount is so diverse, and the L mount is a really good lens. I mean, it's a really good lens mount to do PL and things like that. It's just very diverse. I already have the Blackmagic 6K Pro at EF, which is a dying, mount. So if I just have one camera that has a different mount than every other one, that's good. But 3 different camera systems with different mounts is kind of bad for me, and it's kind of expensive to put something on the FX30. Even though like Tamron makes great glass, like all these things make great glass, the thing is with the L mount, you can even go L to E. So I might still get the 11 to 20, Super 35 millimeter for 4K crop. So it's like it's very versatile in the L mount system, and I really want to go L mount because I'm already going to get L mount. And the second thing is because I have EF lenses and I can go L to EF, and then I want to go into PL. And with the systems I already have, the Blackmagic 6K Pro can be converted into a PL system strictly and leave it there. The L mount for the Pixels and the Luminex would be great with the adapter on it. So that's kind of a future-proof thing for myself because I do want to go PL one day, strictly PL. So I'm going to probably get that. And the E-mount is great, but I just can't have 3 different systems in the house. It's just kind of expensive, and it doesn't help me get any of the budget stuff, like the budget Sony stuff, because I don't want to buy another FX30 just because of the noise factor in the low light, right? So, all right, next one. So we kind of talked about this in the business side. Sorry. We kind of talked about this in the business side. The business side, right? We talked about why the open gate. So now we're going to get straight into open gate. The FX30 does not have open gate, and open gate is super convenient. I know it's a technology thing that's kind of oversold, but for me, it's going to be great because I want to do long doc interviews and use this as a business thing to sell teasers and make it a third or second package. I can charge another $1,000 for turnaround social media clips for the company because I'm shooting at 6K open gate and have 2 cameras already doing 6K open gate, and the third camera just strictly dock style, or just have it a certain crop where I can crop into that sensor and make it a 3 camera social media interview instead of having to do Instead of having to do guide frames and then punch into the image on each camera, I can just have it at 6K open gate and have so much more fun. And because the Sony FX30 does not have open gate, when I'm doing client jobs, this camera is for my client, my social media jobs and my client jobs that are more social media based. I have to flip the camera sideways to do things that I would rather keep horizontally. And that is a bummer for me because I would rather just crop in. And when I have to crop in for a job and I don't want to turn the camera sideways, it just crops into that very noisy image, and I really don't like it. And it does have guide frames for 9x16, but like I can still use that on the Luminex and make it so much more efficient when I come back and post and have so much room to play with in the footage. So that's the thing for me. Like the open gate makes it so much more versatile. 16:9 images nowadays is just a very strict place to be in. Like people do use that for YouTube. They do use that still, but having that better aspect ratio for websites and banners and things like that just makes it so much more versatile. And I think that's a very good selling point of a camera for social media purposes, because that's what the camera to me is getting used for. It's not getting used for anything else but social media and those clients, which that's why I bought the Sony FX30. Also, another reason I'm really selling the Sony FX30 For is because this is a true hybrid camera. It does 9 frames per second and mechanical shutter. The Luminex is really great in photography, but the Sony FX30 is not a photography camera. It is a video first camera, and it does have mechanical shutter. I mean, it does have electronical shutter, which is cool. It's great, but when you're indoors and you have like, your certain shutter speed is like flickering those lights, that's kind of a beat, you know what I'm saying? So I don't like limitation, and there's no limitation with a very capable hybrid camera to do photography. When I bought the Sony FX30, I wasn't thinking about doing photography. I didn't try it, but I would like to sell gallery photos in my packages. I would like to sell photography on the side sometimes. I would like to do camera flash. I do have the Canon M6 Mark II that I do use, but I hate bringing two different cameras for something I could do in the same camera. So that's also one of the reasons why I want to sell the FX30, because it's not a photography camera. It's not a true hybrid camera. Like if I had the FX3 does do mechanical shutter. I would probably be a lot more happy with that than not having it. I'm not trying to complain or nothing, but I'm just kind of being serious about the business side and how my business is growing. So I kind of want that, and I want to take pictures. I want to sell that to my client, and I do want to get that, money for it. So that's kind of another reason why I'm selling the FX30. And then also, I'm not selling the FX30 for this, but the Luminex camera is a really good camera now, because the 3.0 firmware update they just came out last week for NAB, it does better autofocus. And that was a killer, a killer for me, that I didn't want to get the Luminex camera because it didn't have good autofocus. Everybody kept talking about how bad autofocus was, and I bought the Sony FX30 for autofocus. But the caveat to this with the Sony FX30, I have an adapter on my lens, and I have an adapter on the body for sure, because I have the lens on there. The FX30's autofocus is not as reliable with adapters, which adapters in general don't have good autofocus. But because I'm not taking full advantage of the Sony's autofocus, it really shouldn't matter to me, and it doesn't matter because it's not that good anyways. Like when I'm shooting weddings sometimes and I'm trying to do something at 1.8, it definitely hunts and it definitely gets on my nerves sometimes. So that's kind of annoying. So the Luminex camera is probably going to be the same anyways, because we're going to adapt it. So the fact that they did have an update on autofocus is amazing. The really, really, really big factor for the special on the Lumix, I know it's a very gimmicky thing, but it's super reliable because they just updated it. The IBIS on this camera is going to be amazing when I'm doing weddings, because I'm the second shooter. I really don't need a gimbal, but I always bring a gimbal because the IBIS on the FX30 is not that good. It's okay, but it does crop in heavily when you want it super straight. It's really not that good compared to the Luminex's IBIS. You can really run with the Luminex IBIS, and I'm a second shooter. So really, if I just had the body of the camera there, like I don't even need a case. I don't use audio for the camera, nothing. I can just have the body of the camera and batteries in my pocket and have IBIS on and shooting and literally be good all day. Don't even need a case for the camera. So that also is a big selling point, because I do weddings for a company, and it would be so much easier to not have to bring the gimbal and work. So that's just a thing for me that could be so much easier. I thought about later on, but like I could do that with the FX30, but the FX30 is not as good in that IBIS world. Like I've been watching this guy who's like running through NAB, and like the Luminex didn't even move. Like you can crop. It does do a crop, but you can still do 6K crop or something like that. I don't even know. But the fact that it's that good when he was running, I was like, oh, this is a deal breaker for me. Like this is why I need it, because 6K open gate, the IBIS is great, and it does have autofocus. Oh, and the L mount, like that to me is a sell plus the full frame low light. The biggest thing is the 6K is the low light. The add-on is the open gate, and this big good seller that I know I could use it is the IBIS. So the IBIS definitely is going to be used. The 6K open gate is definitely going to be sold, and the L mount is definitely going to be a great clutch. But the biggest thing is the full frame lower light capability. Even though it's not a low light camera, it just has better low light. So that's going to be awesome. I can at least go to 4,000 and it'd be clean. 2,500, I'm telling you, is not clean. I'll show you some video footage in this, but it's not clean. And the shadows are just so bad. If you look at anybody's review on the Sony FX30, the worst thing is low light. And I bought this camera to be moving around, and I didn't buy it for cinema purposes. Like I actually used to rig it up, but like I don't even rig it up anymore just because it's not for that. So yeah, this social media thing is going to be great. Everything's going to be great. I'm going to keep moving. Then the biggest thing, codec, even though the S5 II is not the X, But the codecs is so much better because they have a firmware update to where now you can have the two and buy the codec to upgrade to like ProRes and like Blackmagic Raw to like output it, USB-C and all that stuff, all that good stuff. You can do that. But the Sony FX30, you're kind of just stuck with like H.264 or 5, which is cool. But the Sony image color is not that well to me. I don't personally like it as much as I do the Luminex. The Luminex's colors are not super awesome either. Like the Pocket is the best to me, and the Reds, of course, the cinema cameras. But like, I personally would take the Luminex colors over the Sony FX30's colors because I can see the noise in it. But the color in the FX30 is good, but it's like a lot of green. But the caveat to the Luminex S5 II is magenta. So it's like, to me, I'm cool with both of them having a bad color shift intent, which doesn't matter to me. It's a $1,500 camera on both ends. But I would rather go Luminex because of the codecs inside of it. 6K open gate, 4K, you know, it does a 4K crop. It does have a fan, things like that. Like, it has better codecs and it has photo capability, things like that. Like, it's a better higher. It's better for social media. It's just better in these realms. Not to say it's a better camera, but it's a better in these realms that for me as a business owner is going to help my business grow. So yeah, this is kind of my rant on that. Some of the things that I would really wish I could keep, some of the things I really wish I could keep on the Luminex S5 II is the damn zoom rocker. The zoom rocker and the metal body. The zoom rocker is amazing. I definitely go from 18 to 35 at 35 to like 70 when I'm in a wedding. And like, I never really take this lens off because I have the zoom rocker. So it's like a 24 to 70 for me. So that's really good. But I have a 24 to 105, which it is f4, but at least it's full frame. So I can still go to 70 and I really can just bring one lens. So that's the caveat. I wish I could keep that. I can't keep the camera because I don't want to buy another one because I'm going to buy the Pixis. So I might as well just trade it in damn near for another camera and just buy it and just sell it and just get the damn camera for, you know, lower or cheaper. So that's kind of why I'm not going to keep the FX30. But the metal body, the magnesium body, bro, it's just like, I've dropped this camera a couple times and it stayed in there, boy. So that's kind of something that I really wish was in the Luminex camera, and it's not, but that's okay. I'm pretty cool with everything else that's inside internally. So that is going to be all right, but I wish I can keep it. One of the caveats and the main thing I'm kind of mad about in the Luminex camera, which I don't want to sell the FX30 for, definitely a 4K crop, because why are you having full frame and then you go to, you know, 4K crop? That's pretty stupid. Then it definitely has a smaller fan. I heard it was kind of loud. The FX30 does have a fan as well, but the Luminex has a fan and it's smaller and it can overheat. But I don't think I've seen anybody say it overheated on them. There's a little dial on the there's a little dial on the Luminex S5 II that people say that they can hit very easily. I'm probably gonna try to customize it to make it not move or anything, or like not move, but like it don't really knock anything over. And that's a bummer. But the same thing with the FX30 on the control wheel. Like, you can control it, but like the control wheel does move my frame rate a lot, and I hate that. So just small body function things that mess it up. Also, I forgot to say the Luminex does have shutter angle. It has it has everything but false color. I hate zebra. I don't even know what zebra is. And then I also hate on the Sony FX30, you have to overexpose your image versus just having an image flat out better. Like, you know, like overexpose my image and looking at the thing to say 2.0. Like right now it's at 2.0 and I bring it back and it's going to be super great. But the shadows suck for that. You know what I'm saying? I hate overexposing S-Log. I don't like S-Log. I don't like the way it looks. I don't like the way I don't like the way it handles. That's just a me thing. People do like S-Log. Phantom LUTs are really great, but most of these LUTs go to everything. So I don't know. I'm going Blackmagic all the way, and I'm gonna get the Luminex to back up the Blackmagic. If I get the 2X, I'm going 2X. But if I can't, I'm going 2, which it really don't matter because it's the same damn camera, and you can really just unlock the features. And I don't need Blackmagic Raw. I don't need ProRes, in this camera. I just need the same kind of internals that the FX30 have, which is H.264 at Vlog. So that's kind of why I'm cool with just replacing this camera. And then the last thing is price. The FX30 is $1895. I think the Lumix S2 is like $2,200. But when you buy the Lumix 2 used, it's like $1,400. And if you sell the FX30 at $2,000, you're definitely gonna get your money back and be able to buy some lenses or whatever on the side. I'm kind of still paying on this camera, so I'm probably gonna pay it off, sell it, and then buy some like adapters for the L-mount lens or whatever, and then kind of go from there. I'm also gonna look into the L-mount lenses, but it's not that many. It's not a lot of third-party options, which that definitely is a caveat too. That sucks. But yeah, man, I'm gonna sell the FX30 for this camera. I've been talking about it for a minute. My wife's like, "Why would you do that?" And I'm making this video so she can see it. But that's kind of some of the things, man. Like, I really want to charge for OpenGate, and I really want to have dedicated social media camera and a photography camera within the same camera. And I don't want to go Canon for that. And I want full frame with better low light and better shadows. Like, I hate the noise in the videos, man. Like, it's super annoying. And I don't like the extra green it gives, but you know, I'm probably gonna rent the camera out. I'm gonna rent it out, let you guys see what the footage looks like, how I work with it. But appreciate you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Keep talking. Keep going in the comments. Let me know if you want me to go Lumix or you think I should stay Sony. Just let me know what you think. You know, keep working, keep praying, stay humble, and you know, just keep grinding. Life's gonna change in 6 months, but all you gotta do is beat yourself until you get to reward yourself. All right. So it's your boy One Shot Nas. Peace. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate the love. Peace.